Hello everyone. Have you heard of the miracle tree or the wonder tree or even the drumstick tree? Well, it's none other than the Moringa Maram in Tamil or the Pokok Kelo in Bahasa Malaysia. This is a tree that is found all over Malaysia and has recently gained some attention for the nutritional benefits it produces, or rather the leaves mainly produces. The scientific name for the Popocolo or the Moringa Maram is Moringa oleifera, or it's sometimes also called the drumstick tree because the fruit of the tree is this pod, which is called the drumstick. And look how long this one is. So these look like drumsticks. So this drumstick tree or Moringa oleifera is a tree, a plant that you see grown in many houses in Malaysia. The Moringa tree has been useful even in ancient times, from ancient times. History has it that it was utilized by the Romans, by ancient Romans, by ancient Greeks, and also it was used in ancient India as well. In India, apparently, Mauryan warriors used to eat an extract of the leaves, apparently just before war. Apparently, it used to give them an extra source of energy and as well as strength right before they went to war. In India, or rather in South Asia, the Moringa plant, or in fact, all parts of the Moringa tree, the leaves, the roots, the bark, many parts of the tree is used extensively for Ayurvedic medicine. Ayurvedic medicine, by the way, is it's like an alternative to conventional medicine, to regular medicine. It is even till today, it is practiced. Ayurvedic medicine is practiced in India, and a large majority of Indians or people in India or Nepal, the South Asian region, use Ayurvedic medicine or Ayurvedic healing in their lives. So this is my Moringa tree or plant. It's not really a tree, a huge tree, because the Moringa tree can grow up to 12 meters high. It's really big, really tall, and it can, when it's huge, then you can see the Moringa, the drumsticks, the pods, the flowers, and so on coming out of the tree. But in my case, I actually got a thick trunk, a thick branch from an aunt of mine, and I like it even better. I like it even better because it comes from an auntie. So when it comes from older people, it usually comes with love and good feelings. So I like this tree mainly because of that. This is where I first grew this tree. I took the thick branch and I just planted it in this pot, and I was only harvesting the leaves for a while, and then eventually, of course, the leaves, the plant grew out of the pot. So then I transplanted it to that spot over there, and now it has become huge. Not a huge tree, but a relatively big tree. Over here, I'd like to show you how I clean this drumstick. It's huge. The drumstick is basically a hard pod. So you see, it's hard and it's got this like ridges on it, lines sort of on it. So okay, now let's just take one. Okay, I'm going to cut it in two here because it's a bit too difficult to deal with it when it's all too long. So what you do is you scrape off some of the hard skin from the outside like this. So here I've scraped off most of the outer skin of these drumstick pods. What I would like to do now is cut them in little sticks like this. You see, this is where I used the peeler. So when you use the peeler, you tend to scrape off too much of the outer skin, and when that happens, the pod tends to open up. Oh yeah, well this is a good chance for me to show you that this is how it looks like inside the pod. Okay, can you see that these are unripe, or rather these are seeds that are quite tender right here. These are the seeds. These are the moringa seeds. I'm going to just take it up and show you. These are the moringa seeds, like this. This is the seed, and this flesh or the pulp over here, it's quite tasty to eat. The seeds, when they are young like this, they're also very nice to eat. So this is how it looks like inside the pod. So I'm going to cut it up. I'm going to cut them up like this. There are some recipes which calls for just having little drumsticks like this, just little, maybe about 1.5 inch little sticks like this, and you can just put them into a curry or a dish. And what you do is you eat the inside of the pod. You eat the inside, and the outer layer is not meant to be eaten. You just eat the inside. So basically, what you do is you do this, and you put it in between your lips and in between your teeth actually, and then you scrape it out with your bottom set of teeth. You just scrape it out, and with your teeth, the bottom set of your teeth, and then you eat it. It's quite yummy actually. I just wanted to show this to those of you who are not from Malaysia, or not familiar with this moringa drumstick. So these are the two moringa pods that I had, and I've chopped them up into about 1.5 inches. I've chopped them into 1.5 inches into little sticks like these, or what you call them. And they are fibrous on the top, because you can't completely take off the outer skin. But it doesn't matter really, because the outer skin is not edible. What you're going to do is eat the inside, and as I mentioned, you scrape it out with your teeth. All right, that's how Indians eat it anyway. And how I store them is, since I'm not going to cook them today, I put them into a Ziploc bag and I store them in the fridge. And this, to be honest, is quite a good way. You can even put a kitchen towel inside to keep the moisture away, and that keeps this vegetable quite fresh when you want to cook it later. Like this one here, I have actually stored this moringa pods which has been cut. I have stored them for about maybe 10 days now, and it still looks quite nice and fresh. So I can still use it. It's still nice. It hasn't dried out. It's still nice and fleshy inside. So this is how I store my moringa drumsticks. So I've shown you how to clean and cut the moringa drumsticks. Let me show you how to deal with these. Pretty, aren't they? I think they are. I really do. Just look at them. Just a simple leaf, but there's beauty in anything. Well, anyway, let me not get dramatic now. So there's the leaves. My mom used to cook the leaves and the drumstick pods. The flowers can be cooked as well. In fact, the blooms are really pretty. They are white, green, a mixture of white and green, or rather the white is like a greenish tinge to them. They're really pretty, and I honestly feel that the blooms, the flowers, can be cut and put into a vase. But I really can't get hold of the flowers so much. I did have a few stalks in my tree at one point, but my husband was like, "It's too long. It was like hitting the electric wires or something." So we had to cut them down. But I really like the flowers. Well, anyway, let me get to the leaves. So what you do is, each branch like this, this is how my mom used to do it. You take off the individual little tiny branches, and then some people, they would just like take the whole thing off. Or what my mom used to do was, she would do this. I mean, she would like go against the grain, or just go do it backwards like this. So everything was this way. Or sometimes you can even like put quite a few of them together, 1, 2, 3, and then you put them together like this, and then you just go this way. So this little bit here, you don't really need to put that into your cooking. Of course, the younger generation nowadays would just like take the whole thing and just, maybe just take this like that, and would probably just go this way. But I tend to follow my mom. So if it's all taken out this way, I would still go backwards and take it out like this, or try to avoid having too much of the stem or the stick. So basically, what we would be eating would be the leaves like this. Take out all the, so you see, it's a bit tiring. Not tiring, it's a bit time consuming. So basically, like this one here, you do this. So due to the fact that it's time consuming to get it all like this, like how my mom used to do it, you could always do it. Do it faster and like that, and then turn it around and go this way. But honestly, in cooking, as I've mentioned before, there's no real hard and fast rules. So if you're impatient like I am sometimes, you can just cook it, and even with some of the stems inside, it doesn't really matter, because every part of the tree is edible. It might be a little bit bitter, I guess, if there's too much of stems inside. But anyway, so these are the leaves that I'm going to now put into a Ziploc bag in between some sheets of kitchen towel. So I've done most of the leaves here, as you can see. One fell off. So the leaves here, they're all just leaves, hardly any stems inside. But as I mentioned earlier, there are no real hard and fast rules. If you have time constraint, and if you do not want to spend so much of time cleaning the stems, the sticks, and everything off the leaves, just go ahead and do a quick job, and you can still it's still edible. So do it the way you want to do it. The very young leaves like these, you can just chuck them in, because they're so tender that you can just chuck it in, no problem. And the yellowing leaves, it's advisable not to put them in, because they're not good for you. So what I do with these leaves is I store them in a container like this. Either I put them in between sheets of kitchen paper, and then I put them in between sheets of kitchen paper, and then I store it in a Ziploc bag with as much of air taken out of it. That's okay, that's good. Or I would just put it into a container like this. I would put all of them into this little container. So it's in this container. I have kitchen paper at the bottom and kitchen paper at the top, like that, like so, and I keep it in the fridge. That keeps fresh for some time as well. Even sometimes it even lasts for about a week. So thank you so much for joining me in this whole Moringa oleifera experience. So in my next video, I will do a recipe with the drumsticks or the leaves, either one of them. Do join me. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.